Good morning and welcome to this channel, my beloved brothers and sisters. Today, we turn to the prophet Isaiah, chapter 5, verses 1 to 6, where God, through Isaiah, speaks to us through a parable. It is often referred to as the Song of the Vineyard. In this passage, God shares his heart with his people, and through it, we find a message of both love and warning. Isaiah begins with a song about a vineyard. The owner of the vineyard represents God, and the vineyard symbolizes Israel, his chosen people. God, the owner, did everything possible to cultivate and nurture his vineyard. He chose fertile ground, cleared it of stones, planted it with the choicest vines, and built a watchtower to guard it. He even dug a winepress, expecting a bountiful harvest. God poured his love, care, and provision into his people. But instead of producing good grapes, the vineyard yielded wild, bitter grapes. In this parable, these wild grapes represent Israel's rebellion, injustice, and unrighteousness. Despite all of God's efforts, his people turned away from him, embracing sin and idolatry. This passage is not just a message for Israel, it is a message for us today. God has blessed us abundantly, yet how often do we produce wild grapes of disobedience instead of the sweet fruit of righteousness? In verses 3 to 4, God asks, "What more could have been done for my vineyard than I have done for it?" This question pierces the heart. God has provided everything for us: His Word, His Spirit, and His Son, Jesus Christ, yet we sometimes fail to walk in His ways. What more could He do? He has given us all we need to live lives that honor Him. Then, in verses 5 to 6, we see the consequence of Israel's rebellion. God declares that He will remove the hedge of protection around the vineyard, allowing it to be trampled. The once fertile land will become desolate. This is a sobering reminder that there are consequences when we persist in sin and reject God's grace. Yet, even in this warning, God's love remains. He calls us back to Him, urging us to bear the fruit of righteousness. Let us examine our lives today. Are we producing good fruit for the Lord? Let us turn away from sin and seek His righteousness, for He is always ready to restore and bless His vineyard. This challenges us to reflect on our relationship with God, urging us to live in a way that produces the sweet fruit of righteousness. Thank you and God bless you all.